Now to this, stocks plunged this afternoon with the news of flat retail sales and persistent high inflation. The Dow lost more than 400 points. NASDAQ dropped 327 and the S&P shed 86 points. It was certainly a wild week of swings for the market. Here to explain the market mayhem, Chris Markowski, financial expert and host of the Watchdog on Wall Street podcast. Chris, certainly appreciate the time on a Friday. Let's start big picture. Stocks dropped sharply today after a strong rally on Thursday. Can you explain the volatility in the market that we're seeing right now?
The best way I guess you can explain it would be the fact that the markets don't like uncertainty. There's so many things that are happening right now around the globe that are just throwing monkey wrenches here and there, and traders are battling back and forth. Yesterday's inflation print was so hot. There was a great line that was put out today. If you knew that information ahead of time, you would have lost a lot of money yesterday, because one would have assumed that the market would have completely collapsed, but it turned around. All sorts of issues going on in the UK as well, problems with their bonds selling off. They fired their equivalent of their Treasury Secretary today, hired a new one. All of these things out there are going to continue to lend itself to more and more volatility. This is why your viewers really need to take a couple steps back and understand that trying to time the market over the short term is a complete exercise in futility, and that's where you're going to lose money.
Yeah, that's good advice. The long game here. The consumer price index, one of the things you've been talking about, increasing 0.4% more than the estimate. You said in your podcast today, one of the strongest data points has to do with housing. Can you explain that?
Yeah, that is one of the largest parts of the CPI. They call it, it's a little bit different now. And I've been talking about this as well as, the things that really everybody's feeling all the time, which is the bare necessities. You've got food and energy, and we're all getting crushed with that on a regular basis. But I think this number's lagging a little bit. It's a big country we live in, and real estate markets vary based upon where you live. Some are going to be hotter than others. Some of the more hot real estate markets, or ones that became hot during COVID, you're starting to see some cracks there. Austin, many other places around the country, we're starting to see the prices come down. Not to mention the fact that we've got interest rates, mortgage rates, up close to 7%. It's as high as they've been in 20 years. So this is going to have an effect on the overall housing market. It's going to start driving it down. I think it's just lagging a little bit.
Yeah. Chris, I got a little bit of time left. You gave a little bit of advice. I'd love for you to give a little bit more for the casual investor as we sort of watch these swings.
You don't want to be a casual investor. That's the last thing in the world you want to do. It's something that you should take very, very seriously, and understand that everything in life that has meaning, value, and worth involves work, time, and effort. These moments like we're having right now, and it seems a lot longer than a moment since it's been since the beginning of the year, they'll pass if you're a long-term investor and you own quality.
All right, good advice on a Friday night. Chris Markowski, financial expert, host of the Watchdog on Wall Street. I'm sure we'll talk to you very soon, sir. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.